Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Jamuna Thira Panachari Jamuna Thira Panachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Jamuna Thira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Ajnantimidandasya Gyananjana-chalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tatati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahakana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Harijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahakana Lalita Sri Vishakam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Bhavanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Asyatya Shatharine. Hare Krishna. It is my very special good fortune to have this opportunity to be with all of you this evening. Thank you for coming. This festival has been celebrated throughout the centuries, throughout the millenniums, as one of the very most holy days of the whole year. Narasimha Chaturdashi. I'm remembering an analogy that our beloved Guru, Srila Prabhupada, taught us. In a very fast-moving river where the current is so strong that a human being could not sustain it. There are some places in India we have seen very special holy places to bathe. But in order to do so, you have to be right next to the bank, holding as hard as you can, as tight as could be to a chain. Because if you let go of the chain, you'll be swept away, and it's practically no possibility of surviving. But still, so many people of all ages go there to get not just a bath, but a purification, a blessing. It's an act of great faith. So in such a river, even the mightiest of all animals on this earth, or let us say of all living beings on the earth, the elephant, sometimes when you go to Himalayas, you see signs on the roads with photos of big elephants, and it says, "Beware of elephants." Because here in the Chicago area, sometimes it says, "Beware of deer." And you're supposed to beware because you could hit them. But in the Himalayas, it's not like that. These elephants will charge a car, even a truck, and push it over and trample on it. And so many people die every year being trampled by these elephants. I have seen with my own eyes in a place called Guruvayur, where elephants are kept. I've seen male elephants wrap their trunk around a tree and pull it right out of the ground. But when that same elephant goes into the fast-moving river, it is swept away to its death. Cannot withstand. No power against the strength of the current of the river. But yet there's little fish. Sometimes little fish as big as one of our fingers. Now on the land or anywhere, if the little fish were to fight the elephant, what chance would she have? The elephant, just one step would crush it to death. But yet in the same river that washes the elephant away, the little fish are swimming upstream, downstream, across stream, vertically streamed. They're just very playful. What is the difference? Although the elephant has so much physical power and this fish practically none, the little fish has learned how to take shelter of the river. The elephant has not. And this is very much the principle of the story of the ceremony that we're observing today. We have a little child. He's 5 years old. He doesn't have any supernatural powers. He doesn't have a big, strong body. He's just a 5-year-old child. His name is Prahlad. When he was in the womb of his mother, his father, who was a great conqueror of the entire world, in fact, he was such a powerful person intellectually, physically, supernaturally, psychically. He conquered practically the whole universe. While he was away, the mother with the little child, the wife of Hiranyakashipu, was captured and then rescued by the great sage Narada Muni. And he spoke the truth. He spoke the nature of this material world, the nature of the eternal soul. What is the real value and true purpose of life? And how to take shelter of the Supreme Lord, and how to love the Lord and serve the Lord. That loving service is called bhakti. So when Prahlad came out of the womb of mother, when he was born, he was a self-realized soul. He had no envy. He had no selfishness. He had no arrogance or pride. He simply loved God. His father was the greatest kings, not only of countries, but of planets. They would tremble in fear if he raised his eyebrow with anger upon them. He had performed. Today we try to get strong by going to a gym, I guess. And doing exercises. We may get some trainers. And we may be pretty strong. But Hiranyakashipu, he performed the yoga process. Yoga process is such a profound science. One can acquire incredible devotion, power, humility, arrogance. Just like knowledge or strength, if it's like a knife. If the knife is in the hands of a thief, it will be a tool for pain and death. If it's in the same knife is in the hands of a surgeon, it'll be the instrument to protect and save a life. So this physical body and all the sciences and everything that the body can acquire, whether it's skills, knowledge, power, wealth and resources, all of these things, from a spiritual perspective or a moral perspective, their value is not the thing itself. It's the intent of the person who is using that thing. We can use a car to come to this festival tonight, or we could use the same car to rob someone's house. Is the car good or bad? Its value is according to the person, according to how a person uses their free will. And this is forever the most important lesson for humanity. whatever skills, whatever knowledge, whatever resources, what actually gives a meaningful life is the values that we have. And the highest of all values is to live in harmony with our own soul and live in the harmony of the soul with God, with Krishna. Hiranyakashipu stood on a mountain, on his toes, with his arms raised, for so many years. He didn't eat, he didn't drink water, he was even restraining his own breath. And as the years passed, there was forest growing around him, bushes, trees. He was underneath an anthill, and the insects and ants were eating his flesh and drinking his blood. And he didn't move. How many of us have that determination? If one little mosquito comes, probably some people will crush it. Other people will whisk it away. Other people will get under a net. But we respond. He could have whisked them all away, but he wanted something higher. It's called tapasya, where you're willing to endure hardships for something higher. But unfortunately, for a very mundane consciousness in the modes of ignorance or passion, what we consider higher is actually lower. Yanisha sarvabhutanam. Bhagavad Gita tells like this: for an enlightened person, what is high is considered low by ordinary people, and vice versa. So Hiranyakashipu wanted power, wanted to control, wanted to be a proprietor, wanted to be an enjoyer so intensely that he was enduring thirst, enduring hunger. Although he was so gigantic in size and powerful, he was allowing little insects to eat his flesh and drink his blood. He was just a skeleton. Yet, by his powers, he could keep his full consciousness and his life force within his bones. This is the old-fashioned way of being a yogi. It's not just about having a slender waist, it's about this. And there was fires coming out of his head. He had so much power, and it was actually affecting the world. And the devatas, the demigods and great souls, they approached Lord Brahma and told him that the powers of Hiranyakashipu are going to burn us all. He's doing all this in order to get your attention so that you will give him benedictions. So Brahma came down and saw, he couldn't find him at first. There was just all shrubs and everything all around him. It's just like a field. And the anthill. And he called Hiranyakashipu, and Brahma sprinkled him with celestial water. And Hiranyakashipu, his body was not only restored, it was huge, it was young, it was extraordinarily beautiful, full of health, and unbelievably powerful. Yes. This is not good. Hari Hari. Yes, it is. Hiranyakashipu did not need a microphone. But Prahlad probably did. So he had these benedictions, he had these mystical yogic powers. Where he literally controlled the entire world, and so many worlds. And yet his little son Prahlad simply loved Krishna. In Srimad Bhagavatam, this story, Prahlad called him Vishnu, or sometimes Govinda. And he was just everyone's well-wisher. One day, Hiranyakashipu, he saw his little son Prahlad come before him. He was sitting on the throne, heavenly throne. And Prahlad was so respectful, so full of humility. He bowed down to his father. He stood before him with folded hands, offering respect and affection. And Hiranyakashipu was so moved by his own child. He picked him up, put him on his lap, embraced him. And what do you say to a 5-year-old child? Hiranyakashipu was actually a great scholar of scriptures. He was a great magician. He was a great ruler. But he was arrogant. He was selfish. And he used everything for his own purpose. So he just said to his child, "Tell me, what is the best subject you learn in school?" And little Prahlad, out of love for his father, out of genuine concern, he said, "My dear father, tatsaru manye suravarya dehinam." He wanted to flatter him, so he said, "Oh, best of demoniac tyrants," which to Hiranyakashipu is, it's like something very praised. He said, "For a person who is materialistic like you, completely attached to your arrogant, selfish desires, even though you're trying to be happy, you are living in a deep, dark well where there is eventual suffering. My dear Father, please leave this life of greed, lust, envy, anger. Go to the forest and worship the Supreme Lord. Only then will you be really happy. Hiranyakashipu he hated God. In a previous incarnation, the Supreme Lord, Krishna, appeared as Varahadev and killed his younger brother. He was avowed against God. When he heard his son say like this, he laughed. He told the teachers, "What enemies are coming and teaching my child in your school? Take him back and teach him properly." The teachers scolded him, threatened him, and Prahlad, he said, whatever. They asked him, "Where did you learn this from?" He said, "I learned it from my guru." They couldn't understand this. He said, Prahlad said, "What you are teaching me is the most common, ordinary, everyday, materialistic conception. From a spiritual perspective, these things really are not impressive at all. But when we forget that higher reality of God's grace, then we think these things to be so valuable. Then you're simply teaching this is a friend and this is an enemy, and how to exploit the enemies and how to exploit the friends. But I see the Lord of my heart in everyone's heart. I am seeing everyone with equal vision. The teachers were so disturbed. They really threatened him. And then they taught him, and Prahlad, when he spoke the truth, he spoke the truth. Otherwise, he was the most obedient student in the whole school. He learned all the subjects. He was very kind, very respectful. And the teachers were so proud of him. They brought him before his father. And his mother dressed him really nicely. And when he came before the throne, he got such a good report. And Hiranyakashipu was so proud of his little son. Still 5 years old. He said, "Oh, Prahlad." And he put him on his lap, and he embraced him, and he smelled the top of his head like a father sometimes does, and he actually cried tears that sprinkled on little Prahlad's face. And he said, "My son, please tell me, what have you learned in school?" Tell me, what is the best education? Actually, the best subject. And little Prahlad, with so much kindness and affection, he responded. Sravana kirtana smarana bandhana pada sevana dasyare pujana sakijana atmani vedana. There are 9 processes in which we could offer pure love and devotion to the Supreme Lord. Hearing about the Lord, chanting the names and glories of the Lord, remembering the Lord, praying before the Lord, offering service to the Lord, offering personal service to the Lord, worshiping the Lord, becoming a friend and surrendering our hearts and our lives to the Lord. This comprises real knowledge. And this will actually bring us to the true goal that we are all seeking. Hiranyakashipu, he didn't laugh. This time he was very upset. He looked at the teachers, said, "You are my enemies. What are you teaching my child? You are teaching my child to be on the side of my worst arch life enemy, Vishnu." The teacher said, "We didn't teach him this. And nobody in the school talks about this. Your son, this is just his nature. He's naturally just like this. We can't change him." Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlad, "Where did you learn this?" And Prahlad Maharaj replied, "Matirana Krishna Paratashvata." My dear father, someone like you, who cannot control his mind or senses from lust and envy and anger and greed and arrogance and illusion, no matter how much, whether you try by yourself or even with the help of others, you'll never understand Krishna. In other words, you can only understand God when God reveals himself to us by our sincerity. And then he told his father, Natevaduswara Vishnu, that the real goal of life is to understand our eternal nature as spirit souls in relationship to the Supreme Lord. Prahlad was explaining in so many ways that Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita. We're giving an explanation of his teachings. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suradam sarvabhutanam gyatva mam shantim rachati. That the supreme truth, Bhagavan, Krishna, is the supreme proprietor of everything that exists. The supreme controller of all material and spiritual energies. And ultimately, real peace is when we serve the Supreme Lord with love. And Suradam Sarvabhutanam means he's the ever well-wishing friend of all living beings. An inseparable part of bhakti, or Bhagavad Dharma, is to be an instrument of the Lord's well-wishing friendship to every living being. So he's explaining, this is the goal of life, my Father. All your conquering, all people praising you and glorifying you, all people surrendering to you. You have, Hiranyakashipu had such supernatural powers. He could control the wind. He could control the temperature. Even the great demigods who had powers over these things, they had to surrender all their powers to him. Prahlad Maharaj told his father, unless you bathe your body in the dust of the feet of those who love Krishna, you will never be purified and understand who Krishna is. In other words, he's telling his father that real greatness is not controlling the world. It's being the servant of the servant of the servant of the Supreme Lord. That is greatness. When Hiranyakashipu received those instructions, he was outraged. He picked up Prahlad from his lap and threw him on the floor and said, he is on the side of my enemy. He must be killed by any means possible. He told his military, his guards, and he had armies beyond what we could even comprehend in the world today. And here's a little 5-year-old boy, and Hiranyakashipu says, kill him. Hiranyakashipu said that a medicinal herb is not of the same species as a human, but because it's good for a human, we give great honor to those medicinal herbs. But even if our own limb from our own body is diseased, if it's so highly infected, if we don't cut it off, it will cause the death of the whole body. Although he is my son, he is my enemy. He must die. Prahlad loved his father more than anybody in the creation. He was trying to help him. He wasn't forcing him. He was just being honest with him. Truthful. Compassionate. The quality of Prahlad's compassion is so exemplary. He could have lived such a peaceful life if, when his father asked, what is your favorite subject? All he had to do was say, math. Or science. Or history. One word. And his father would have just embraced him and given him everything. But his compassion was so deep. And he wasn't a preacher who was preaching to try just to convert his father. He was concerned. He saw that his father was causing so much harm and so much pain to so many people. And all that karma was going to come back upon him in due course of time. He saw that his father was so ignorant of his soul. When you understand, to whatever extent you understand your true identity, we're not this temporary body and mind. We are the eternal soul. We're a part of God. Our greatest potential is to ananda, to feel the happiness of feeling God's love and loving God. When we understand these things and begin to realize them, then we see all these so-called accomplishments of this world are so superficial. Janma mrityu jara vyadhi. How long do we live? Practically, history is just talking about dead people. And what did any of them take with them? Srila Prabhupada would describe when we're in the midst of material accomplishments, we're so proud. We're so intoxicated and infatuated by it, we don't see that it's just like a little spark in eternity. It comes and it goes. Srila Prabhupada described there was the Roman Empire, there was the Greek Empire, there was the British Empire, there was a German Empire. The empires may have lasted some centuries, but today, how much do we even know about them? You have to go to school and specifically study it. Otherwise, how many people really knows about the kings of Rome? The great dynasties of Greece? Comes and goes. Inevitably, everything's taken away. The only truly valuable things that we could do in life are those things that connect us with our eternal nature, Bhagavad Dharma. So Prahlad, he loved his father. He loved everyone. He was seeing the presence of God, a child of Krishna, in everyone, everywhere. So the soldiers of Hiranyakashipu, they tried every way they could to kill little Prahlad. And Prahlad didn't try to defend himself. What can he do? He's a 5-year-old little boy. What is your age? 12. So you're like 2.5 times the age of Prahlad. He was so sweet. He was so nice to everyone. But he was honest. He was like that little fish in the river. Hiranyakashipu was like the elephant. Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, he's the abilities in all people. He gives us ability. He gives us intelligence. He gives us strength. He gives us knowledge. He's the activating principle of everything that exists, all spiritual and all material energies. I could speak because Krishna has created this activating principle of speech. So these military people, these demoniac soldiers, they were trying to pierce Prahlad to death with sharp tridents. Now Prahlad was just sitting there. And these people had massive, mountain-like bodies of strength. And they're jabbing these tridents into his body. How is it he wasn't harmed? Because the activating principle of a weapon is controlled ultimately by God. The weapon had no ability. Even though they were trying to stab it against him, that weapon had no capacity to cause him any injury or pain. It's similar to that famous story of when they were trying to take the robes off Draupadi. Krishna's the activating principle. She cried out to Krishna, please save me, save me. Go, hey Krishna, hey Govinda, I'm yours. And the more these great warriors pulled at her cloth of her clothes, the cloth was piling on the floor, but still she was fully dressed. How is that done? Krishna's Parameshwara. Krishna's Yogeshwara. Krishna's all-powerful. And he could do it in the subtlest or most gross ways according to how he wishes. They threw him off mountains. They put him in fire. They fed him poison. They put him underwater. They tried to starve him. Put him in freezing ice cold. Prahlad never complained. He never fought back. It's not that we can imitate this. Arjuna, in Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata, he was asked to fight back. But Prahlad was 5 years old. It wasn't his dharma to fight back. Arjuna was a warrior. Little Prahlad, he just gave his heart to Krishna. Just a few days ago in Calcutta, we saw this beautiful opening of the home of Bhakti Vinod Thakur. He was like Prahlad. He was a magistrate during the British Empire of India. He had 14 children, beautiful estates, but he had the same sweet mood of love, compassion, and fearlessness like Prahlad. He wrote hundreds and hundreds of beautiful prayers and 100 books. He moved so many, he still, to this day, we're singing his songs every day. In one beautiful song he sings, Maro birako bijo icha tohar, nityada pratitua adhikar. Manaso deho geho jo kechu mor, harpilon tuao pade Nanda Kishore. My Lord, my body, my home, the microphone. My family, my property, my resources, my abilities, everything belongs to you. If you like, you can protect me. If you like, you can kill me. You have every right to do anything you please because I am your servant unconditionally. That was Prahlad. When he was falling off a high mountain, there's a place in South India, Ahovalam. How many of you have been to Ahovalam? Please raise your hands. There's the Ugra Stamba. To climb up this Ugra Stamba, it's really high. And I don't know if they've made better facilities, but when I was there, it was really dangerous. You have to go across these rocks that's only like a few feet, and it's so far down you can't even see the bottom, and there's winds. Prahlad was thrown off the top of that. And while he was falling, he wasn't saying, "Oh, God, save me." He was just, "Krishna, I'm yours. Hey, Govinda, I'm yours." Love and trust. When Srila Prabhupada talks about Prahlad, he talks about the faith and trust Prahlad had like a little baby child with mother. Little older father also. But when a little child is in a dangerous situation, if the child is embraced by the mother and the father is near, the child is safe. I'm in loving arms. Aham bija pratapita. Krishna tells, I'm the father, I'm the mother of all living beings. Little Prahlad, just remembering Krishna, just feeling Krishna's presence in his heart, feeling Krishna's love and feeling love for Krishna. Param dristvani vartate. Prahlad understood, realized, and experienced that this is forever. As far as this body goes, whatever, it's only going to last a few years anyway, no matter who we are. Whatever is going to happen. But Krishna, I'm yours. After they tried so many methods and nothing worked, and it was actually inconceivable and miraculous, they just couldn't harm him. Hiranyakashipu was becoming extremely depressed because no matter, he would scream. He had such a loud, horrible, cruel voice. Have you ever heard somebody who's really envious and strong when they want to scold you, insult you, intimidate you, threaten you, kill you? He was trying everything. What hurt Hiranyakashipu the most, no matter what he did, he couldn't get Prahlad to be angry at him. He couldn't get Prahlad to not love him. This disturbed him terribly. The teachers, they saw Hiranyakashipu just looking down at the ground in a very, very depressed state. He said, if I cannot control him, he will be the cause of my death. That's the way some people think. If I cannot control you, you will destroy me. I must control everything, everyone. Anyone who could not be totally controlled by Hiranyakashipu was a threat. And for Prahlad, no one was a threat. Parandrasvani vartate. Because he was feeling God's love. The teachers, they said to Hiranyakashipu, don't be depressed. When you raise your eyebrows, even the demigods and even the greatest conquering kings tremble in fear. You've conquered everyone. He's only 5 years old. Don't take him so seriously. He'll grow up and he'll forget about, this, what he's doing. Just let us take him back to school. Your guru is our father, Sukracharya. When he comes back, we'll have Prahlad trained very nicely to be just the way you want him. Hiranyakashipu was pacified. Prahlad went back to school. He was the best student in every subject. But during the recess, all the children were his age, 5 years old. Some a little older, a little younger. They loved Prahlad. He was the most popular person in the class simply because he loved everyone. It's easy to love someone that loves you. But in this world, we find that we can have the most hate for somebody who loves you. Because we don't understand. They're interfering with our agenda. So the little children, during recess, they all gathered in circles around Prahlad. And he smiled upon them. He was so gracious, so kind, so soft-spoken, actually. And the little children, they said, please tell us why you're like you are. And little Prahlad said that what I have learned in my life, I learned from my guru, Narada Muni. And they said, at recess, we play, we do so many sports, but we want to understand, what is your happiness? And Prahlad spoke his first teachings to his classmates. The greatest acharyas, the greatest gurus, the greatest saints, the greatest scholars throughout history of the Vedic culture have quoted his first verse. Komara achare pragyo dharman bhagavatani. The real aim of life is Bhagavad Dharma, which means loving service to the Supreme. And from the very beginning of our childhood, we should learn about this. And Srila Prabhupada, our Guru Maharaj, explains that we don't know how old we are. Padam padam yadvi padam natesha. In this world, whoever we are, wherever we are, whatever we have, we don't know what the next moment will bring. We don't know when the curtains will close. In the temple, we know there's timings. But in life, just a few days ago, I was in London just 3 days ago, Some of my dearmost friends in life over the last few weeks, just suddenly passed away. There were people from Iran telling me about their families and their homes and their own experiences there. There were people from Ukraine. Some were refugees. Family is still there. Heart disease, cancer, automobile accidents, COVIDs. What to speak of war, oppressing governments. There's so many dangers. What does it actually mean to be old? Every moment is so precious. Srimad Bhagavatam, Sukadev Goswami, he was speaking Srimad Bhagavatam, he was only about 16 years old. And he was speaking to people who were ageless. Vyasadev, Vishwamitra. These people are from really old and really wise. And really, Vyasadev is the compiler of Vedas. Narada Muni was there, the guru of Vyasadev. And Sukadev is describing that human life is so precious, so rare. The greatness of life is not how many years, because those years are going to vanish. The greatness of life is the quality of our consciousness, how we're tuned into our eternal soul, which is beyond death, and how we're tuned in to the ultimate purpose of life, which is our relationship with the Supreme Lord, Krishna. So he's telling his friends that in a life, almost half the life of most people, you sleep. And then when you're a child, just trying to figure out what the world is, and playing, and then studying. And then if you're married, you have to make a living, you have to support. And then when you get old, there's really not that much left. Like 20 years of old age, if you get to live that long, your memory's going, your strength is going. Every moment is precious. Don't take anything for granted. He was telling his children, his friends, now is the time. Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote a beautiful song. Durlabha manava janma lobhya samsare. Human life is so rare. And every moment of life is so rare. But the rarest thing in all of creation is the opportunity to associate with people who love God. To get inspired by them, to learn from them, to be empowered. Durlabha manava janama satsange toraho ebhavosindare. Prahlad is describing when he was an embryo in the womb, he got the association of a great saint, Narada Rishi. And because of that association, he was experiencing the timeless happiness of the soul. He surrendered his heart in taking shelter of the love of God. This is Prahlad. Abhay Chaturdashi Vindare. And when we take shelter, we become fearless. We see in the world so much of what motivates people on the material platform is fear. And actually, no matter how much money, no matter how much power, no matter how much fame, no matter how much good health, it doesn't take away the fear. Because we're all vulnerable in our interrelationships with others, in our popularity, in our health. And we know that death is going to come. To be happy is actually to be fearless. And to be fearless is like that little fish at the beginning of our talk, if you remember that far back. The fish is not afraid of the current of the river because it's taken shelter. It's naturally in the shelter. So Prahlad Maharaj, among the most beautiful, comprehensive, incredible teachings he offered to his classmates, he explained the nature of material existence, the nature of time, the nature of the soul, the nature of God's love. And he concluded, my dear children, my dear friends, engage in the loving service of the Lord. That will be your great happiness. They believed to the core of their hearts everything he said. He loved them. He cared about them. They realized Prahlad is truly our best well-wishing friend. And he was giving these little children his own age, 5 years old, wisdom that they could not get anywhere else. They were transformed. They all became great devotees of the Lord. But when the teachers came in to continue their classes after recess, they saw that these children now, they were trying to teach them the glories of how to exploit people, how to actually fulfill your greed, fulfill your lust, fulfill your anger, have real substance to be arrogant about. And now the children were so attached to Krishna that they were detached from all their teachers' lessons. Sanda and Amarka, the teachers, dragged little Prahlad to his father and said, he's spoiling everyone. We don't know what to do, but we can't keep him in the school because he's corrupting all the children. It's really, we interpret reality according to our own perception. They were actually thinking that little Prahlad was corrupting the children from their standards. And from their standards, he was. They were well-wishers, they were respectful, they were humble, they wanted to serve, they were compassionate. That is corruption. Really, in material life, humility is a weakness. Arrogance is a strength. But in spiritual life, arrogance is a pathetic weakness. Pathetic weakness. And humility is power. Humility doesn't mean we just feel ourselves the worst. It means we're feeling God's power, and we're humbled by that. We're in the shelter of that. So when Hiranyakashipu heard this report card, he was outraged. He said, Prahlad, how dare you not surrender to me? Because I cannot control you, you are my enemy. Where, Prahlad, do you get the strength to disobey me? Prahlad standing with folded palms, with so much love for his father, tenderly replying, my father, I get my strength from the same place that you get your strength. And from the same place that everyone gets their strength, from Vishnu, from God. That's like the ultimate insult to Hiranyakashipu. He was further outraged. His eyes were becoming red like coals. His lips were trembling. He said, Prahlad, you are speaking about this Vishnu. Where is he? Prahlad said, my father, he's everywhere. He's in every person's heart. He's the controller of all the energies of all nature. My Lord is present everywhere. Hiranyakashipu drew his sword, huge, massive, shining sword. The sword probably weighed 20 times more than Prahlad did. He drew this massive sword from his sheath. And he said, Hiranyakashipu, out of spite, he said, today I will send you to the abode of death with my own hands. Let us see if your Lord will come to save you. Is he in this pillar? And then Hiranyakashipu with his mighty fist, he hit the pillar, but it sounded louder than that. When he smashed the pillar with his powerful fist, suddenly, and then he charged toward Prahlad to sever the little boy's head. Suddenly, from the pillar, this shrilling, roaring sound came that filled the world. It was such a loud, horrific sound. Nobody knew where it was coming from. But it put everyone in terror. Hiranyakashipu was looking everywhere. Where is this sound coming from? And from the pillar, it broke open. It's the best sound effects we can offer you tonight. The pillar trembled and broke, and out from the pillar was Narasimha Dev. And the Srimad Bhagavatam describes specifically, the Lord appeared in this way just to protect the word of Prahlad. Prahlad said he was everywhere, even in the pillar, so the Lord incarnated from the pillar. He was half man, half lion. And he was roaring. And his eyes were like molten gold. And his mane was like an effulgent that was spreading in all directions. Hiranyakashipu could not understand what this was, who this was. He had never seen anyone like this. Narasimha Dev. He had the body of a man and the face and the nails of a lion. No one in all of creation had ever seen anything or anyone like this. He was fear, he was anger personified. Now, on the altar here at Kishore Kishori Temple, we see the beautiful form of Shri Shri Kishore Kishori, the supreme absolute truth, the all-powerful Lord, who is eternally, supremely sweet, playful, loving. He dances. We see Srimati Radharani, the very supreme personification of gentle motherly compassion. And Kishore, who's playing upon his flute he's the original musician. All music has its origin in Krishna's playing flute. And what is that sound of his flute? It's his supreme, unlimited, eternal love coming from his heart through his breath into the form of music to enchant the hearts of those who hear. Yes, Srimati Radharani is a gopi. She's churning butter. She's taking care of cows and calves. She's loving Krishna, making garlands, dancing. That is Vrindavan. But that same one supreme absolute truth, who's appearing as Krishna, as the most loving, sweet, playful, absolute lover and beloved, appears as Narasimha Dev. If you want to understand who Krishna is, you should also understand who Narasimha Dev is. Srimad Bhagavatam we first learn about the nature of God from the 9 cantos, and then the 10th canto we learn about Krishna playing with his friends. And we understand, who is this Krishna playing his friends? The source of creation, maintenance and destruction of all universes. And here, Narasimha Dev, he was supreme anger personified. Why was he angry? Because of the injustices that Hiranyakashipu was inflicting upon his little innocent son, Prahlad. Even seeing this almighty form of absolute power, Hiranyakashipu was so intoxicated by his own successes, by his own victories. He was thinking, no one can defeat me. He was completely convinced that he will be victorious and kill Vishnu. And he picked up a club and charged at Narsimha Dev. Lord Narsimha Dev, Brahmiti Paramatmiti Bhagavaniti Shabjate. He's the source of the Brahmajyoti, the all-pervading light of Brahman. He was so effulgent that when Hiranyakashipu charged at him, Hiranyakashipu completely disappeared from everyone's sight because he just entered into the effulgence of Narasimha Dev. They were fighting. And Lord Narasimha Dev, he was like a, Srila Prabhupada uses this example, like a cat plays with a mouse. Sometimes lets the mouse go so he could jump on him. So Narasimha Dev released Hiranyakashipu, and Hiranyakashipu was thinking, he cannot hold me down. He was sure he would be victorious. And the demigods, they were really afraid, and the sages and the rishis and all pious people who were watching were afraid to death that Hiranyakashipu was so powerful. And the fight continued, and Hiranyakashipu was sometimes flying in the sky and sometimes on the ground, and he was doing all of his incredible supernatural yogic mystic powers to fight the Lord, and the Lord ultimately just grabbed him, brought him to the doorway to fulfill the benedictions Hiranyakashipu received from Brahma. He would not be killed inside or outside. So Narasimha Dev took him to the doorway. He would not be killed by man or animal. The Lord appeared half man, half lion. He would not be killed by anyone created by Brahma. Lord Narasimha Dev creates Brahma. He would not be killed by any weapons. The Lord was going to do it with his own nails. He would not be killed in either the sky or the water or the ground. Narasimha Dev put Hiranyakashipu on his lap, and with his nails, it was the world's first gastrointestinal surgery. It's the bloodiest, goriest scene that anybody could imagine. He ripped him open and he took his heart out and threw his dead body on the ground. And then he took his intestines out of his body and put it around. Narasimha put the intestines of Hiranyakashipu as a garland of victory around his own body. Now this sounds really ghastly. You know, Hollywood, Bollywood, if they tried to do something like this, they could never, they could make bloody, horrible, gory scenes, but nothing could compare to this. And this was for real life. There was no special effects. But yet, it was beautiful. How is that possible? Because the Lord is all beautiful. Even when he does something that is ghastly by our perceptions, because Narasimha is actually everyone's well-wisher, just as a devotee is meant to be everyone's well-wisher, because we're meant to be instruments of God's well-wishing. He didn't do it out of hate for Hiranyakashipu. He did it out of love. He was liberating him. He did it to protect Prahlad and so many others. And because the Lord did it, even the most ghastly situation looked so aesthetically beautiful. You see this painting of Narasimha? Now, for a common person, that looks ghastly. But when devotees see, a devotee's heart melts. How sweet, how beautiful. The Lord's love is transcendental. And thousands of Hiranyakashipu soldiers attacked Narasimha, and within a few seconds, he eliminated all of them. And he was growling. He was growling really, really loud. It was shaking the world. And the sages and the rishis and the yogis and the devatas, the demigods, from a distance, they offered beautiful prayers. They knew this is the supreme personality of Godhead. This is Lord Vishnu, who has appeared in this most extraordinary incarnation to give us protection. Prahlad gave Hiranyakashipu every chance, second, third, fourth, kept giving him better chances, never gave up on his father. The Lord finally had to appear when Prahlad was about to be vanquished. Thank you. Nobody could approach Narasimha. He was the personification of, if you add everyone's anger in the entire world and put it all together, it's not even a spark of the anger displayed by Narasimha. The devatas could not approach him. The devatas and the sages and the rishis, they asked Lakshmi, his eternal consort, please try to pacify him. You're his consort. And Lakshmi said, I've never seen him in this mood. I cannot go near him. And Lord Brahma said to Prahlad, please go and pacify the Lord. And where nobody else could come before him, out of awe and reverence, little Prahlad went right up to the Lord. He bowed down, and then he stood with folded hands and offered beautiful prayers. And we're out of time. But those prayers are among the most enriched, philosophical, transcendentally emotional truths ever spoken. Prahlad is speaking with such utter humility, just praising the Lord for his mercy. And Narasimha Dev says to Prahlad, I will give you any benediction that you desire. When I appear in an incarnation only for you, I've come to give you any benediction. Prahlad could have asked for anything. He said, my Lord, I'm your devotee. If my surrendering my life and offering my everything to you, if I'm expecting anything in return, I'm not a devotee. I'm just doing business with you. I just want to serve you. I just want to please you. Please protect me from the influences of material energy so that my love and my devotion to you will not be interrupted. Lord Narsimha Dev offered Prahlad, you will have long life, you will have health, and I want you to perform the last rites for your father, Shraddha. And then I want you to become the king and rule over the dynasty. Little Prahlad, he said, I will ask one thing of you. My father was so angry, and he caused so much pain and so much misery to so many people and so much death. Please forgive him. Please give him liberation from suffering. Narasimha Dev, he said, because of your devotion, Prahlad, not only will I give your father liberation, but I will give 21 generations of your family all liberation because of your devotion. And Narasimha Dev himself, after hearing Prahlad's prayers, he became completely peaceful. From the personification of wrath, transcendental, he became the personification of Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Completely loving and peaceful and gentle. Same form. And he put his hand on Prahlad's, he put his paw on Prahlad's head. And Prahlad felt completely bathed with grace, completely purified, and surcharged with the Lord's love, kindness, compassion. And Lord Narasimha Dev, he said, anyone This is the best part. For those of you who are awake. Anyone who hears about the qualities and the devotion of Prahlad in relation with myself, the Lord is saying, will be liberated from suffering and will be given devotional service. Wherever great personalities meet, the discussion of the qualities of Prahlad is so very sacred to discuss. The Lord himself said, I will give special mercy to anyone who follows in your footsteps, Prahlad. You have come to this world through your example to show the real qualities that everyone should aspire to live by. We cannot imitate. There are 12 Mahajans, or supreme authorities, in all the Vedic scriptures. And Prahlad is one of those 12 authorities. Mahajano yena gatasa banta. If we try to imitate Prahlad, we will never survive. But we could follow in his footsteps. We can embrace the values of devotion, of shelter, of surrender that little Prahlad embodied. After Narasimha Dev then blessed Brahma and told him, don't give these benedictions to demons anymore. And then Narasimha Dev disappeared. And Prahlad performed the last rites to his father with duty, with love, with compassion. And then on Lord Narasimha Dev's order, Prahlad Maharaj was made the king. And for so many long years, and from 5 years old he was made king until he was very old. And he had family, and he had children, and he had grandchildren, and he performed all his duties according to how he could best serve. He had that same spirit. He didn't rule as a controller. He ruled as a loving servant, seeing every living being as a part of God, seeing every living being as a worshipped soul. Sometimes he may have had to fight battles. Sometimes he was just giving everything of himself. There's a beautiful story, and I'll end here. I'm sorry, I'm late. There's a beautiful place in South India called Melkote. Have any of you been to Melkote? There's a mountain, and on top of the mountain there's a very historic temple. And the story is there's a lake underneath that mountain. And Prahlad was, when he was the king, he was traveling from place to place, and he was praying. He was feeling, because of me, my Lord, my father had to die. wasn't thinking my father was cruel, he was a tyrant, he was horrible, he was trying to murder me. He was thinking because of me. He wasn't saying this out of guilt. He was saying this out of just compassion, humility. And Lord Narasimha Dev appeared on top of that hill in the form of Yoga Narasimha. He's still there today. Narasimha Dev is the supreme yogi. He's sitting in a yoga asana. And he told Prahlad, it's not that because of you that your father died, it's because of you your father got supreme liberation. In Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, Vasudev Datta, he prayed to Lord Chaitanya, just grant me one benediction. My heart breaks when I see people suffering in this world. Not just humans, all beings. He said, let me take the karma of every living being in the universe. Let me suffer perpetually hellish conditions, but bring everyone back to the spiritual world to be happy with you. And he meant it from the core of his heart. Who could offer that prayer honestly? Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was Krishna himself, hearing the sincerity of Vasudeva, tears came to his eyes. He couldn't even talk. He was so choked up. And finally, when he was able to speak, he said to Vasudeva Dutt, it is not surprising you speak like this because you are Prahlad. This was the spirit of Prahlad. And similarly, Srila Haridas Thakur, he was willing to endure so many beatings and he was just praying for the forgiveness and blessings upon everyone. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu described Haridas, you have the spirit of Prahlad. And Srila Prabhupada, when he would talk about Prahlad, he would sometimes compare him to Lord Jesus Christ in the Western world. He was persecuted and willing to endure all kinds of difficulties, yet prayed for their well-being and their forgiveness. Prahlad Maharaj personifies this heart of devotion. And even in Vrindavan, when Krishna was there living in Vrindavan 5,000 years ago, Gargamuni and some of the great Brahmin gurus, to protect Krishna and Balaram and the residents of Vrindavan in Nandagaon, they established a temple of Narasimha Dev. Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes that we should pray to Prahlad Maharaj to follow in his footsteps for his blessings. And we should pray to Lord Narasimha Dev not only to protect us, but to remove the obstacles within our heart from pure devotional service. Because that is truly the greatest protection. Thank you very much. Would you like to sing Narasimha Dev's prayers before? Hari Hari. Everyone, please, with great feeling, just in the last couple weeks, 3 very beloved disciples of Srila Prabhupada, dear friends to all of us, have passed away. Charu Prabhu, a very, very gracious, kind, brilliant devotee, suddenly left us. Sudamani Devi, I believe she came to Srila Prabhupada in around 1969. One of the senior-most devotees of our whole movement. Her husband is Rabindra Sarup Prabhu. And just yesterday, the day before, Agni Dev Prabhu, who inspired by his Vaishnava qualities and his beautiful, beautiful devotional talents. He was one of the most influential singers of kirtan. He was a leading kirtan devotee in our whole movement since about 1973. And just previous, it was His Holiness Badri Narayan Maharaj, Ranjit Prabhu, Ekanath Prabhu. Let us, with great feeling, offer this kirtan to these great souls. Everyone, please. And there are so many dangers in the world, so much conflict due to these misconceptions of friends and enemies. Let us chant this beautiful prayer to Narasimha Dev to protect us from lust, envy, anger, greed, pride, arrogance, and illusion. Let us pray for spiritual peace, devotion, compassion, and love to prevail in the troubled world. Very loudly, with all our hearts, please. Let this prayer be the culmination of this holy day. Namaste Narasingaya. Namaste Narasingaya. Namaste Narasingaya. Namaste Narasingaya. Everyone, Namaste Narasimhaya. Prahlad Dayani. Hiranyakashipu Baksaya. Hiranyakashipu Baksaya. Silantam Nikalaye. Silantam Nikalaye. Ito Narasimha Parato Narasimha. Ito Narasimha Parato Narasimha. Yato yamitato Narasimha. Yato yamitato Narasimha. Bahir Narasimha Hridaye Narasimha. Bahir Narasimha Hridaye Narasimha. Narasimha Lamadin Saranam Prapadai. Narasimha Lamadin Saranam Prapadai. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Tavakara Kamala Pare Nakam Abduta Sringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hari. Jaya Jagadisha Hari. Jaya Jagadisha Hari. Avakara Kamala Pare Nakam Aduta Sringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hari Jaya Jagadisha Hari Jaya Jagadisha Hari Keshavadrita Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hari Jaya Jagadisha Hari Jaya Jagadisha Hari Jaya Narsimha Dev, Narsimha Dev, Narsimha Dev, Jaya Narsimha Dev. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Narahari, 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 Jaya Narahari. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Nitai Go Hari Bo, Haribo, Haribo. Nitai go Haribo, 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 Haribo. Namaste Narasingaya. Namaste Narasingaya. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everyone please. Everyone together with all our hearts. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hari Hari. Vansha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Thank you very much.
His Holiness Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Let us very loudly say Hari Bol for Maharaj. Thank you very much, Maharaj. We are very grateful that you came and blessed us by your nectarian lecture and also this wonderful kirtan. So devotees, just a housekeeping announcement. Prasadam is getting served upstairs. So those who have not had prasad, this is the time. So I would request all of you to go and honor prasadam, break your fast, and good night. Hare Krishna.